Hello and welcome to This Week in Bitcoin. There is also a lot of things that happened this week, so let's get stuck in right away. News number one come out of Fidelity, and they've recently released a very interesting report regarding Bitcoin adoption amongst nation states. They wanted to find out through this research and this report whether the adoption of nation states will actually also help with the adoption of Bitcoin itself. So they took a closer look at all of the possibilities with nation states adopting in, what the total numbers would be, what they currently hold, and what the impact would be on their economic output, on their economy as a whole, and just generally about also global relationships. And the analyst, Matt Hogan, came to a very interesting conclusion, stating countries who do not hold Bitcoin in the future, so no reserve, nothing on the side, are actually in more danger than the countries that will hold Bitcoin based on all of the monetary policy advantages you have with Bitcoin. He also stated it's very likely that nations are either already secretly buying Bitcoin or will for sure, once the dust settles and everything is a bit more clear, start getting into Bitcoin. It will definitely also have an impact on adoption and on public acceptance. More on that with the third news in this video. But speaking about acceptance and being in the public eye, the second news of the week is a little bit for all of the nerdy ones of you out there. In January, there is the CES conference taking place. It's the Consumer Electronics Conference where basically all big tech brands present whatever is hot and new and what kind of cool hip idea they have. And this week, the Chinese miner Canaan, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, was also visible at CES. And moreover, they actually decided to release a home mining setup. In the mining space, it's very popular to see home miners, so little boxes with one miner in them that actually gets plugged in. It uses the heat it generates, and in that box, it actually reduces the amount of noise it makes, and the heat gets put out, so you can essentially heat your home. There are even solutions that heat up a room up to 50 square meters. So quite a lot of heat and little output compared to what you do with something else like a big heater or even a fireplace. However, it's not meant to be used to mine and, find a lot of Bitcoin, because you plug in like one ASIC. That does not work to find an entire block unless you're super, super, super lucky, but it's very unlikely. So therefore, you use it more as something for enthusiasts that also want to heat their home. Canaan has now announced two products, one for $250 and the other one for $900, stating based on how many watts and output you want to have and also how much you want to heat your home, you would be able to get one of the two. Will that now drive the adoption amongst tech nerds? Probably not, but it's cool to see Bitcoin out there in such a public perception. And speaking of public perception, this gets us to the third point, because Bitcoin's acceptance amongst nation state, as I said in the first one, could actually increase, but also amongst the media. Because this week, Bitcoin was in the mainstream media quite often, essentially also often in the New York Times, sort of meant as the golden standard of the media world in the US. Once with a little bit of a thought article stating how owning Bitcoin is white privilege, whatever that means. And the other time in a more in-depth, continuous, very good analyzed article where they actually stated that Bitcoin is not the niche phenomenon anymore and it's not something you can ignore. It really has found its acceptance amongst Wall Street, amongst investors, and people should actually stop playing it down and start considering it more. This involvement and this evolution in Bitcoin has really been something you see in the media every day. I'm contacting with the media every day and I speak to them a lot, and I'm seeing how there's also a mindset change, I would say. And if you see all of this positive coverage, plus the potential of the nation state adoption, you really start seeing and kicking in that adoption amongst Bitcoin peers and other people who have never been in touch with it is starting to increase as well. But with that, we're at the end of this week in Bitcoin. You know the drill. If you got questions, feedback, or just want to say hello, leave a comment below. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.